WIFTVPN.
Live from What's in It for the Black Media Studio. You're listening to I Said What I Said.
Wait, what did you say?
I said you're listening to I Said What I Said.
I just said that.
I know you just said that.
That's what I just said.
That's what I'm saying to you.
Exactly what he just said.
With Herb Howard and Toussaint Werner.
That's about one of the nicest things you ever said.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Wherever we go, we shine wherever we go, Lord, Lord. Welcome to the mind of a pothead. On my head, see a young nigga got dressed. We don't give a fuck what the cop said. I'm living a legacy, so even when I die, I am not dead. Nigga, I am not dead. Fuck with me.
Great afternoon to you wonderful people. Welcome to this Wednesday edition of I Said What I Said. We are live from the What's in It for the Black People Media Studios. Herb Howard, Toussaint Werner here with you every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 1 to 3 p.m. Thank y'all so very, very much for choosing to be a part of the conversation. As always, your input is valued. It is certainly appreciated. Anything you want to add to the conversation, feel free to do so. We will read through as many of your comments as we can while we go through the show. Again, this is I Said What I Said. We get together right here with you all and we discuss issues that are impacting the black community, how those things impact us as individuals and how they impact us as a collective. And along with your help, we talk through many of these issues in hopes of finding the best solutions for how we can overcome these issues. Again, overcome them as individuals, but perhaps more importantly, overcome them as a collective. So again, thank y'all so very, very much for choosing to be a part of the conversation. As always, we would kindly ask that you would please take a quick moment to share the conversation by clicking on the little arrow in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. Share it on your personal page. Share it even within your personal network. Anyone that you think would add value to or find value in this particular conversation, we welcome them to be a part of the discussion. It is our sincere belief that the more like-minded individuals we can get to be a part of the conversation, the better the opportunity we have of finding the optimum solutions going forward. So please share the conversation. Also, if you feel so inclined, which many of you already have, and we are so appreciative of that, you can contribute to the show by clicking on the little gold stars in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. We certainly appreciate each and every one of those. Again, this is I Said What I Said. It is intellectual thuggery at its absolute finest. My name is Herb Howard, my esteemed co-host. His name is Toussaint Werner. What's happening, good brother?
What's up, famo? I'm blessed and highly favored. How you?
Ain't nothing to it, man. Listen, man, asking you shall receive, right? We said we was ready for the drapes to come down, and because, you know, we run shit around here.
That's pretty much how
drapes
it goes.
came down.
That's how it goes, G.
You know, let's get the art back popping.
You know, you gotta appease the stars. You know what I mean?
You must. You must. Gotta look out for your star players.
We divas around here. You know what I mean? We make the rules. You know what I mean? It is what it is.
It is what
you
it
get what
is.
you want when you the franchise. You know what I mean?
You can.
Hey, it is what it is.
Smart man, that Mace Jackson. Listen, man. Shout out to Sonia Escobar. She is doing all of the hard work behind the glass. Esco, what's happening?
Yes, your Fiji water is almost ready, guys.
Yeah, but mine ain't cold enough.
Red M&Ms.
Mine's not quite
Make
cold
sure you
enough.
take out all the brown M&Ms. I don't like those.
Yes, sir. On it.
Esco is the absolute best in the business at what she does, and we love her to death. We literally could not do anything around here without that wonderful young lady. So appreciate you as always, Esco. Got a special show planned for you guys this afternoon. We are going to be joined live in studio by real Chicago royalty. Not like, oh, I had some semblance of success, so I'm Chicago royalty, but no, like I'm really Chicago royalty. I'm really queening around this joint, and so we are absolutely thrilled to be joined live in the studio. Mother Wade is going to be with us this afternoon to have the conversation. If you do not know the name, or if you know the name and you don't know the face, you'll get to know both here this afternoon, find out a little bit of the history behind that and what it is that she is doing on an everyday basis to improve the circumstances of black people all over the city of Chicago. Mother Wade is an absolute gem, and we count it a blessing that she chose to be here with us. So after we come back from our first break in a couple of minutes, we will introduce you all to her. You still on the bike?
I am, and it's freezing. But I also got on the scale the other day, so I'm going to be on the bike. You got to make a decision. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I'm not playing. I'm about to get this fat suit off of me.
I'm proud. I'm going to win.
I support you, brother.
How are we doing this? Are we doing like percentage things? Are we doing like pounds?
I'm not in competition, man. I just want to see you healthy.
No, it ain't about
'Cause
competition,
I love you, man.
but it's about
Inches?
first talking about inches. That's y'all thing. That's your thing, Esco. Inches. I don't even.
Women's sizes are all deceived. Like, they're not right.
Yeah, it's weird.
Every designer is different. So inches is a good measurement.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm not even gonna use that word. It's pounds.
Pounds.
It's pounds.
I like how you said you love me, so you worry about my health.
That's
we both
all
know
it is,
good and
brother.
hell well this has nothing to do with health.
No, I'm concerned about your health, brother. I'm concerned about my health. In order for us to lead this revolution, we got to be here. You
That's
know
a
what I
fact.
mean?
Man, that's real.
So in
That's
order
real.
for us to be here, we got to take better care of our health. You know
We
what
should.
I mean? This is true story. I lost my sister 2 weeks before her 40th birthday. You know what I mean? I've had several of my partners have heart attacks. I'm talking about young people, stuff that shouldn't be happening.
What was
right?
it 2 months ago? You lost another family member, like 42?
Absolutely.
Out the blue?
Yeah, it was like 2 months ago. I lost a cousin as well. So, we starting to see people in our peer group pass. And, you got to question, like, what's happening with our health. And a lot of that is based on, what's happening in the grocery stores, what's happening at home, how we're living. It's funny, man. I got family in Kentucky, right? And they live to 120. And I'm talking about a good 120. I'm talking
real.
about still
Still
driving
getting around.
cars
Yeah.
and living.
Yeah.
But they also eat food out the backyard. You know what I mean?
Which is different.
We don't have that experience, and you see that response in the health in our people, right? Like I said, my sister passed 2 weeks before her 40th birthday.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I've had several friends have strokes. So I'm talking about.
I would love to get to a place where all of the produce that I eat literally comes out of my backyard or the backyard of a neighbor very close to me.
Man, you know what's interesting though? The way you should leverage a grocery store is everything within the corners, like everything against the walls. If you got to go inside of it, all that is pasteurized. It's not worth nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
Water, fruits, vegetables, get up out of it.
I agree.
Now I don't do that. That's just the right thing to do.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
But it's a different experience. It's funny, man. I went to China one time, and I've always despised Chinese food, right? Despised it, and I was scared. Like, how am I gonna survive for this time? I'm gonna be in China because I hate this food, right? Got there first day, saw McDonald's, ate that, almost killed myself because it was horrible. You understand me?
Yeah.
And then I said, when in Rome, do as the Romans, and I start eating with the people.
Authentic Chinese food.
Authentic Chinese food.
Real rats.
Real rats.
Okay,
Let
me
tell you
fake
something.
alley rats.
Them rats is
Farm
delicious. The rats is delicious.
You gotta get the farm rats.
But listen to what I'm saying. It's a different experience when you experience fresh food. Like, you don't even understand. Like in America, everything tastes like chicken, but it's not really tasting like chicken. It's just that it's all been pasteurized. You know what I mean? So when you get to China and you start to see, like, you said rats and you joking, but
I'm not joking.
It's true.
No, I'm not joking at all.
Right? You don't even see birds flying in the sky. They eating everything.
Yeah.
You understand me? But everything is delicious. Like, if fruit tastes like fruit really tastes, you couldn't even sell candy in America. You couldn't. You couldn't. You couldn't sell it. But it's just a different experience.
I dig it, man. I dig it. Here's to health and prosperity as we move forward. Y'all, thank y'all so much for choosing to be a part of the conversation. We got to take our first break. When we come back, we will be joined live in studio by Mother Wade. She is a wealth of history, knowledge, and information, and she's still getting it done on the ground today. Happy to be joined by her in the studio. This is I Said What I Said. Tucson Warner, Herb Howard here at 3 o'clock. We'll be right back.
WIIFTVPM.
Introducing your trusted source for high-quality Black emojis, better known as Blackmoji. We believe Black is beautiful, and that beauty should be reflected in the digital market. Now there is an app that does just that, starting with Black Greek letter organizations. Blackmoji D9 offers more than an emoji app. It is a cultural experience of Black excellence. Download the app in the Apple or Google Play Store to access a specially curated catalog of emojis representing the Divine Nine. Use the emojis to celebrate Black Greek events, acknowledge current events, support social causes, and learn about esteemed Black Greek members who blaze the trail of Black history. A portion of every subscription goes toward a scholarship fund specifically for members of Black Greek letter organizations to help keep the legacy alive. Download the Blackmoji app today.
Jordy Chicago famous.
Tony Scope, was there still that pushback against comedians becoming radio personalities, or was it accepted around that time?
In Chicago, we was used to having some funny on the radio in the morning, so.
I make you laugh. I'm here to fucking amuse you.
Man, I remember one time I was at a Bulls game, and I'm at the little concession stand. This dude in front of me, this little OG dude turned around like, yeah, you that cat, you that dude that replaced Dale. We don't like that shit.
Word?
Why are you here? I'm like, I'm just trying to buy a hot dog, son. I'm just trying to buy a hot dog. And then we'll make it so bad when Sam left and I got the job, I called my mom. I'm like, Mom, I'm getting ready to do afternoons. She's like, oh yeah, baby, yeah. I'm like, yeah. She's like, oh yeah. I'm like, I'm replacing Sam. So she's like, hold on. Wait, you replacing Sam Silk? Where's Sam going? I'm like, Mama, like my mama was upset.
Right, your mama.
Right. I'm like, Mama, did you just hear that let me replace Sam Silk? And she was like, okay. Where's Sam going? But yeah, so I think that was the point where I really realized that, I had a chance of actually making a career.
Chicago famous, 3 to 6, Monday through Friday, right here on What's in It for the Black People Media.
Fun guy.
Where's your mom?
Fun guy, what's up, baby?
What it do, baby?
Yeah, yo, what do you know?
I'll be telling you.
What's going on, Chicago? What's in it for the Black People Media presents?
I want to go higher. Oh my God.
Call your sons, call your daughters, call your friends, call your neighbors.
The Big Tuesdays and Thursdays, 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. with Eugene McIntosh and Terrence Tomlin. We got what you need right here on What's in It for the Black People Media.
WIFTPM.
And we are back live from the beautiful What's in It for the Black People Media Studios. This is I Said What I Said. My name is Herb Howard. My co-host name is Toussaint Warner. Thank y'all so much for choosing to be a part of it. Told you all that we were absolutely thrilled to be joined live in the studio by the legendary, the one and only Mother Way. Mother Way, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to spend some time with us too.
Well, good afternoon, and thank you for inviting me.
No, it's an absolute pleasure. Too said, that we had to get you on the show, and for a multitude of reasons, we're absolutely thrilled to have you on.
Yeah, but we got to give Mama a better introduction than what we've given her, right?
Of course we do.
To those who don't know, Mama Wade is an iconic figure in the history of Black Chicago. Born in the deep South, I'm gonna say, because I don't know the exact place in the South.
Forest
but we're gonna
City,
get to
Arkansas.
that.
Way down in the jungle.
Forest City, Arkansas. Nobody. That's not even on no maps. That's like a 2-stop light town, right?
Right.
But outside of that, Mother Wade is an entrepreneur. She's an innovative woman. She's led in regards to like race and politics in regards to the city. And outside of all of that, she's one of the rare Chicagoans that can put me in my place. So that alone deserves its own level of accolade. So I wanted to welcome to the show my surrogate mother,
right,
Mother Josephine Wade.
Thank you, son, for having me, and I do put you in your place because I have to pipe you down sometime when we in these boardrooms.
He needs it
because you ready to go there.
He needs it.
And see, back in the day when we was marching with Reverend Eddie White and Reverend Billy Barrel and Reverend Jackson and Clay Evans, we had pencil and paper, and we threatened to do things. And when we threatened, the corporate listened, or the city listened, and then they would come in and say, let's get together and work things out. So we got to get back and implement some of the old school.
Mm-hmm.
Because when we become destructive to our own neighborhoods, then we prevent private money from coming in. most people think that the city has a lot of things and new things coming in the neighborhood. No, it's private money that moves your neighborhood.
It is.
And we're gonna get to some of that, right? But for me, what I wanted to do really in a lot of ways is kind of just celebrate you today, right? So kind of just give you your flowers, right? I think you have an amazing story. I think it's a story that not many of us have not many of us know about, and I think it deserves way more attention than it gets. You know what I mean? Over the past, 5-10 years, we've been moving in unison in a lot of different situations, and I've just been inspired by you. And I know that you move the needle in a lot of stuff that the city doesn't know your hands are involved in. And I ain't saying we got to get your hands involved in them, but I just think you deserve much more acclaim than the city actually gives you. So today, for me, what I wanted to do was just kind of tell your story, and I think your story is such an interesting story. So, give us a breakdown. Like, you said, what's the name of this Arkansas, the city in
Forest City, Arkansas.
Forest City,
I grew up
Arkansas.
as a sharecropper.
Yeah.
And we was on a farm and we was very poor. I look at kids today and how they have all kinds of shoes. Well, we didn't have a lot of shoes when we grew up. In fact, I remember at 16 and 15 going to school with soles off of my shoes with holes in them. Mm-hmm. And if it rained and we didn't have a plastic bag, we would have to stay after school until the rain lightens up. Mm-hmm. That's poor. But in being poor, we became valued at knowing who we were and what we were. We didn't rob anybody. We didn't kill anybody. We stayed focused. And I started dreaming at 16 on how I really wanted my life to go. Mm-hmm. Because I looked at the sharecropper's boss house, 3-car garage, long and all that. And I knew one day if I stayed focused, I could require some of those things. And in achievement, it requires sacrifice, dedication, and holding on to your dream. I haven't completely got there, but I haven't been too far behind of what my goals were.
Mm-hmm. But to the point of putting me in my place, right? I'm a little bit defiant. I know it. I get it naturally, right? But you're a little bit defiant too,
it's
right?
necessary.
And that's what's intriguing about me. So I don't know if you remember the story, but you told me the story a long time ago about being in the sharecropper and you just despised it. And part of you would not go to the field some days. You would avoid going to the field, but you would get in trouble for it. You remember that story you said?
Sure. I remember I was the youngest one at that time. And I couldn't pick cotton like everybody else could. And I would pick enough just to make a place to lay my head. And I would lay in the field all day and clap my hands and let the birds separate. And one day I was clapping my hands and the birds, and I didn't realize it was almost 2:30 to get that 100. We had to pick 125 pounds a day of cotton.
Wow.
Jeez. And I didn't have my quota. And I'm laying there, patting my hand like that. And after a while, I heard someone say, "Young lady, where's your sack to take to the scale to weigh up for the day?" And I hadn't picked no more 25 pounds. Mm-hmm. Because I just couldn't do that. Mm-hmm. And people talk about race now to race then.
Sure.
No, when that scrawl boss saw that I hadn't picked my quota, he called the boss, and the boss said like this. He said, "You call George Wade and tell him to get that little nigger girl in place." Mm. And they didn't use the words of all the different cultures that they've given black people.
Sure.
To me, you can't modify race until you talk about the word nigger and cracker. Because when we got upset with the field boss, we called him a cracker. And they called us nigger girls by our father's name. Mm-hmm. Or the boy. Tell George to get that little nigger boy of his in place.
Yes, ma'am.
And we didn't do what the sharecroppers told us to do. So I look at what was back there then and what is now. You know, now white folks really don't market for your money, but you bring it to them on a regular basis. And you know how I know this? Because you could see what's going on in our neighborhood. Back in the day when I was a girl, my father went on the books in January. He came off in November. They paid everything off, all our doctor bills, food. We had my father sign for. Mm-hmm. And then at the end of that year, he would write my father out a check. I gave him cash, whatever was different.
Whatever was left over.
Right. Now, young people get a check, and it's given to them by earning. But think about how the psychological way I'm going. They don't hold your money like my dad money was, but yet we care to them on a regular basis. And I say that is because when I look around at the disproportion of services in our neighborhood, we've lost everything. We've lost our grocery stores. We've lost our bakeries. We've lost our hardware stores, our novelty stores, our shopping where ladies would go and buy their fine dresses. Well, this is showing you, hey, I can trust to give you your check and know that you ain't going to come back and spend it in your neighborhood.
Mother Way, I'm going to pause you right there. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, I want to go from all the lessons that you learned and all the shaping that was done on you growing up in Forest City, Arkansas, and picking that cotton all day long, to some of the things that have led you to where you are right now. I want to kind of come into that next phase of your life to kind of shape some of your thinking from the way you do things now, because I resonate a lot with what you're saying. Like, I couldn't sit there and do that all day, right? Something else is going to have to happen. Whatever the consequences be, that's just what they're going to be. And as Tu was saying, you keep him in place because he's a bit of a rebel, but so are you. I think it's absolutely necessary. When we come back, I want to get to that next part of the story. This is I Said What I Said. Herb Howard, Tucson Warner, absolutely thrilled to be joined live in the studio by Mother Wade. We'll be right back.
WIIFTBPM.
Whatever happened to you falling in that grocery store?
Your guess is as good as mine. My auntie said she knew someone. I gave her all the information, but that was 3 weeks ago and I still haven't heard anything.
You still got time to talk to the lawyers at the CLN.
The CLN? What's that?
It's the Chicago Legal Network, a group of attorneys that concentrate in many areas of law, especially the laws most needed in Chicago neighborhoods. The CLN lawyers focus on personal injury, criminal defense, and other issues. Plus, all the lawyers at the CLN all average over 20 years of legal experience and are dedicated to helping the Chicago community.
Sounds like I definitely need to contact them.
Say less. I can text you everything you need to know. So if you're ever injured in a car accident, slip and fall, or injured on the job, or you need assistance with criminal defense, including driving violations and DUI, check out ChicagoLegalNetwork.com for more information, or call 773-912-3545. That's 773-912-3545. The Chicago Legal Network is committed to developing black lawyers through mentorship and co-representation.
Maze Jackson.
If you could make up a social media holiday, what would it be?
Randy said National Don't Let No One Put You Down Day.
No one. What you gonna do? So when they say something crazy, you slap them?
You like me said. Randy said a Juke-a-thon Day.
Man, we're about 60 years old. I be done had a heart.
You gotta get your heart rate up.
Okay, not that far.
All right, Mario said my favorite one. My friends and I do what we call National Call Off From Work Day.
As a business owner, I don't. You don't like that? Yeah. I don't like that.
Because I'm the boss of this family.
We got Marcus Garvey Day from Remy too.
Oh, Marcus Garvey Day. All right, what will we do on Marcus Garvey Day?
Call off from work.
I'm going to need you to go ahead and come in tomorrow. That would be great. Okay?
Yeah, right. Every black holiday has something to do with calling off from work.
You're cool. I'm out.
About National Join a Positive Black Organization Day, because I don't want to be recruited. I don't want to be recruited and the brothers be like, thank you. Thank you. How about National Tell White People the Truth Day? Tell them how you really feel.
You can't handle the truth.
Why don't we call that National Black People Get Locked Up Day?
I'm going to tell them there's an African-American man threatening my life.
Hello.
The most dangerous show in the morning.
Shop at Black-owned and operated Solo Beauty, where you are appreciated and respected. Located at 8158 South Cottage Grove, Solo Beauty can supply all of your black hair care needs. Solo Beauty is open from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. Tuesday through Saturday.
WIFTBPM.
And we are back live from the What's in It for the Black People Media Studios. This is I Said What I Said. Herb Howard, Tucson Warner here with you every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 1 to 3 p.m. Thank y'all for being a part of the conversation. If you have not had an opportunity to do so, please take a quick moment to share the conversation by clicking on the little arrow in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. Today is a special episode, in my personal opinion. We are joined live in the studio by Mother Wade. Her list of accomplishments and contributions to the culture, not only here in Chicago, but for Black people in general, is an endless list. And I count it an absolute pleasure to be able to sit with you and have this type of conversation. I think it's critically important. I say all the time that it is absolutely necessary that we find a way to bridge the gap between older generations and younger generations. Right? There's too many things that get lost in translation there, in terms of the wisdom, the experience, the expertise on so many things, and trying to match that then with, some of the youthful exuberance that we see in other generations. And if we don't find a way to blend those two things together, right? If we don't find a way to stop saying, well, older generations dropped the ball here, or stop saying, yeah, younger generations didn't pick up the ball and run with it here.
True.
Then ultimately it's going to be detrimental to us. And so I think it's absolutely critical that we look back, understand fully where we came from, how far we've come, and all points in between. At 34 years old, I can't do that. I can go back 34 years old, right? I mean, I've done my history and research. I know some other things for sure, but in terms of personal experience, got 34 years of it, right? But I need to know much more than that if I'm going to be able to stand in the space that I would like to stand in, and then be that conduit for generations to come after me. And so thank you so very, very much for choosing to sit down, not only with me and Tu. I mean, I know you and Tu are, close, right? Mother and son relationship.
Yes.
But with all of us, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have a loyal.
I'm the mother of the city.
You are.
And I'm anybody's mother that wants me to be a mother.
You are.
Now, Tucson and I don't always agree because he wants to go at things in a different tactic.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, I'd take the same road, but a little bit on the meeker side. One thing about it is creating a name for yourself.
Yes, ma'am.
That people can trust you. Character, body language, and be true to your word. And when you are true to your word, people are going to listen to you. And people are going to trust you, and they're going to believe in you.
As they should. Growing up in Far City, Arkansas, right?
Mm-hmm.
You go through that process and cotton picking and all these other things. What was the next step that kind of got you on the path to where you found yourself today?
Well, my sister moved to Chicago, and I moved here, and I first started working for Howard Johnson. I left Howard Johnson. I went to the Oasis. I was one of the first blacks to be a chef at Stouffer's. So when Stouffer's started doing their menus, mainly on macaroni and cheese, I was a part of that. And I also worked at the University of Chicago. So I say that to say it has been a long journey, but it's a journey that I wouldn't change. I was in corporate America after I came and opened. No, I hadn't opened up a restaurant. I went to corporate America. And in driving around in my neighborhood, seeing the need of what we were missing.
Yes, ma'am.
This is when I came out and decided to put in a restaurant. Now, it had nothing to do with Army Lou's and Isola and Gladys's. We carry different cultures of food. And when you bring certain people out for bankers, they don't eat lunch maybe the same way we do. They're looking for sandwiches and soup and different type of salads. Well, this is what made me go into business and put in a diversified menu that would pick anybody that would come in our community could eat bar. And it was no competition. Actually, when I went to Hard Time to open up, I went and sat down with Isola and told her I was putting in the banquet room to get her blessing and her permission. And let her know that I was in no competition. She sold brains and eggs. I don't. She sold chitlins. I didn't. She sold salt pork. I didn't. So I tried to come into a community of a staple that was already there and not come in and be in competition. See, we sometimes come in and we give competition to each other. And that hurts if we side by side or a block from each other. I had a different menu. And then I also let her know that anytime that she wanted to book and it was outside her accommodation, she could share my banquet room.
But you skipping some parts of the story too, though, Mom. And before we can get to that, because you had another restaurant before even Hard Times.
Right, I did.
Right, but also when you said Isola's, Gladys's, Army Lou's, I paused.
I've been in business since I was 21 years old.
I know, and that's impressive. But I paused parenthetically because I thought about it and I said, man, Herbert's 34 years old. I wonder if you even heard of any of those places. Army Lou's, Isola's, or Gladys's?
I've heard of Gladys's and Isola's.
Okay.
And Army Lou's?
No, I have not.
Well, Army Lou's, they got a restaurant in California that had carried the same armacy that Army Lou's did. In fact, some of the same maitre d's and everything. But Army Lou's was a classic, a history treasured classic in our neighborhood. And I knew Mr. Lewis and his wife. I knew Tommy, and Tommy used to have a small restaurant right where the library is. So back in the day, we showed each other. If you came to work for me as a cook and came out of that restaurant, before we would hire you, we would call and find out at Haven Arrest, why did you leave there? And then explain, we don't play, you know how sometimes you hop from each other? But we had an association. We had Black Wall Street back there then, Ed Gardner, Bob Hughes, Howard Medley.
It's a lot of black.
It was
wealth
a
in
lot
Chicago
of blacks.
at that time.
Right today, corporate will say, well, where is the Black Wall Street? It no longer exists. We've lost all that.
I'm 44, so I caught the last end of the Gladys's, the Army Lou's, and stuff like that. And it's funny, I was having this conversation with a partner of mine this weekend, and it speaks to how we're losing community in this sense too. Like what I remember most about Gladys's, because my dad used to take me down there when I was a young kid, and you go to Gladys's and you sit in the booth, and random people will come into the restaurant and sit in the booth with you. Like you'd be eating with strangers. Like that was the norm in Gladys's.
Right.
It was always packed.
Right.
But it also, you think about that, and it builds bonds and it builds community. You know,
Sure
you
it
break
does.
bread with people, you start building relationships.
Well,
with
back
people.
in the day, Tucson, lawyers couldn't go downtown to an office because they didn't have any. I'm talking about with Howard, a whole lot of attorneys. And they would see their clients in Army Lou's, Gladys, Edna's on the west side. All of this was their office. But the part that I think moving forward to the 21st century, it hurt a lot of black businesses. And what I mean by that, it was African Americans that started Happy Hour. And Happy Hour left our neighborhood after our counterparts saw the kind of money was in it. And then they started putting in sport bars, and Happy Hour became a downtown thing.
Just like the lottery.
So we have learned to allow people to come in our neighborhood and shift all our values. But if you go to Little Italy, you go to Chinatown, whatever they based are, is still there. So where's ours? You see what I'm saying, son?
Yes, ma'am.
It is hard to get people to come to any black restaurant because society have told them the food that you eat is not healthy. No. you find more older people that live to get 100, 110.
Tell the truth.
Out of black restaurants.
Tell the truth.
Because right today, I don't buy nothing on sale. Everything is raw cooked to order. When people come in, they say, "Oh, it takes so long to get this chicken." Yeah, because
I ain't throwing it in the microwave.
Because it's raw and it's not already cooked. And that was the concept, Tucson, that I put together when Victor and I started to talk about upgrading Hard Time. I've never bought on sale. My food is raw, cooked to order. Everything there, we cook it from scratch. But most people want to go to fast food. I had a lady to bring me some from Chick-fil-A. I think that's the name of it. And their chicken, to again what you said, pre-cooked, this is what has caused our high blood pressure, our kidneys gone, our this, is because we eat too much food with preservatives. And we moved away from, we let marketing come in and move us out of our own culture. Right today, the TV stations do not celebrate Black History Month because we give that up. We give that up. Back in the day, when they had a candidate running like it is now, it kept our economy because they would come and book in our churches, book in our restaurants, and this kept money circulating. Everything now, we send it to Channel 5, excuse me, David, WGN, Paul, and John Eiler. They send it to white corporate. But it used to be that money used to be into our neighborhoods to help level off our economy. Well, it would take y'all generation to say, hey, we going to change the dynamics of people voting now. That's like J.P. Pretzel. J.P. Pretzel spent over $55 million. And out of that, he might have had $1 million that he spent in the black neighborhood. That's sad. And you know why it's sad?
I do.
Because we didn't demand to say, hey, come to talk radio.
Exactly.
Come to WVON.
Exactly.
Come to the local papers. Come to this, come to that, come to the churches. They used to feed the candidates to hit a farm. And the candidate would pay for it.
Let me ask you this, because in my lifetime, Hard Times is still a place that where anybody's running for anything, right? Local level, state level, national level. They leverage your restaurant to come and reach the black community.
That is correct.
How that started and how have you maintained that? What do you want from that? And how have you seen that kind of develop over the years?
I've seen it absorb. If, in other words, it has gone away.
Because I've been there for no less than half dozen, politicians coming in.
Right.
I want to be on 79th Street. I want to talk to the black community.
Right.
I got to come to Hard Times to be able to do that.
Well, when our president before Obama, I done went to sit here.
Bush.
Hillary, and what's her husband's name?
Bill
Clinton ran. It was Charles Ringo came and set it up with Bishop Ford to run Bill Clinton through a household name of every black church. And people say black church is this. Yeah, black churches play major parts in history making because back in the day it did. Well, see, they moved away from that now and they buy all television time. I think y'all as young people got to get that back to your neighborhood because number one, it helps your economy and then it puts you more informed with the candidate that they want you to vote for.
So we've been having this conversation just for this whole election cycle about, Donald Trump versus Joe Biden, and I've been amazed that, not that I'm a Donald Trump fan at any level, but I've been amazed that we're celebrating the streets over this Biden election. I tend to think of politics as being transactional, right? What am I getting out this deal?
True.
It's not about who I like or want to sit down and have a
True.
beer with. What am I getting out this deal? And I've not seen us get anything out this deal, right? And I've not seen us get anything out of the deals with the last, I don't know, forever presidents.
Right. I was
You
going to
know
say.
what I mean?
Because
And-
you don't hold your candidates. You have to first hold your local government accountable, and then you have to hold your national politician accountable. Now, I'm going to say this to you. Biden and Obama owe Illinois. And you know why they owe Illinois? They didn't spend no money to run here.
Say it louder for the people in the back.
They don't
Beg
have
your
to.
pardon?
They don't have to.
They don't have to spend any money.
Oh, yes, they do.
But they take it for granted that
But
they're
they
going to win
take
anyway.
it for granted.
Whose fault is that?
So that's
That's our
young
fault.
people,
That's on us.
the radio, television, and the churches. We have never held any of them accountable.
Right.
And when the Bible say you have not because you ask not.
Mm-hmm.
So nobody has challenged them and asked them for anything. They just assume because we carried Obama and then halfway carried Hillary that we would carry Biden.
Were they wrong,
But it's
Mama?
they are wrong. But it's
Are they?
time for you all, the young group, to call the Bidens and make them be accountable to talk radio, because you all have got the form out on what his plans is for Chicago. The newsletter starts right with you all to get the message out.
Mm-hmm.
You all have put him in there, and you gonna talk on talk radio until they come and bring you the check that they should have bought you.
Here's the thing, though. I don't know that we can work that thing backwards. And to me,
Yes, you
putting
can.
them in the office first and then demanding something of them is working backwards.
That it not necessarily
You
so.
wanted something from me last week. This week, you don't need me.
That's not, but that's kind of true, but it's not true. It's a new day now.
Okay.
And it's a new day, and that's just like with the media. What controls the media now, and I just learned this from my presidents, is what be on Facebook and talk radio. When y'all start talking the needs of what we need in African American communities, how can one counterpart go to Washington up there less than 3 years and bring $5 million back for affordable housing when we got senators and representatives up there and they haven't bought back zero?
That's right, Dick Durbin. We're talking about you. So
Right.
I agree 100%.
Tell the truth.
Right? I agree 100%. But so there's this dynamic that goes on.
It's
in
what
our
you put
community.
out. It's what you get back. You start talking it, son, they gonna listen.
Yes, ma'am.
But as long as you stay still and don't have a platform to talk on, then they gonna pass you by.
I agree. And there's a dynamic that takes place in our community where we seem to think if you have a conversation with the opposition, you've chosen the opposition's team. And even you get
All
backlash
money is
for that.
green,
Yeah,
be it Republican or Democrat.
Absolutely.
What moves the world is money. And because you sit down and negotiate a form doesn't mean that you're supporting that candidate. You follow me?
I agree. And that's why we start off with I said, we disagree a lot, but we're not disagreeable. Right.
'Cause I
So
have to
we
keep
know
you
we
in
have the
check.
same goal. You
That's
understand?
Right.
So how we go about getting to that goal, we sometimes come to a crossroad and we say, no, that's not the right way to do it. And I say, no, mama, that's not the right way to do it.
That's
but we
true.
know inherently we have the same goal, right?
And I'm going to tell you too, son, what I think it should start. You start while they off running so that you could be in their budget.
Right.
You're going to call a forum and bring Dick Durbin, Robin Kelly, and Bobby Rush, and let them help you change the dynamics of where young people have to go. We can't hold young people accountable when we ain't sitting with them. I know I've been in trouble for sponsoring Jedediah, Callaway, all the young people that's running. I can't be held responsible. You know why, son? I was 21 and I was a young Democrat. What if Eddie White and Robin Barrel hadn't allowed me to come to the table?
Sure.
And if you don't train young people, and don't get me wrong, I ain't telling you to go run against your alderman. because Tucson was going to run against the alderman.
Hey,
and I talked him out of it. But let me tell you where I'm coming from.
Sure.
Let me tell you where I'm coming from.
Mm-hmm.
If I don't train you how to run or help train you, what if something happened to our sitting alderman and we ain't started to cultivate and train somebody to have a takeover in our community that we could recognize?
I'm glad you mentioned that, because I tell this brother since I've known him, yo, go run, right? And he works tirelessly behind the scenes. He's on the ground, he's in the boardrooms, he's got access to certain places, he's gifted, he cares a whole lot. But he likes to play behind the scenes. And we had a conversation.
But I'm a behind the scene person.
And that's perfectly fine. That's great. But we had a conversation just here. Was it Monday we talked about this? And you said it. And I was watching the show last night and I started to call you, but it was late when I was watching it. You said
the courage of the call.
The courage of the call. When you're called, are you gonna stand in that position?
Mm-hmm.
Bro.
But see, I think a lot of that is theater too.
A lot of what is theater?
Most political offices in my
We ain't talking about most political offices. We talking about you.
No,
they're theater
but
because
it's not the
people,
same thing,
right? The position ain't theater.
It's a lot of theater. We get to that offline.
But I tell you what, I find a lot of people are going into politics for the salary. When you become a public figure, it has to be people first.
That's right.
And your salary in life second, like Martin Luther King. You have to be committed.
Mm-hmm.
I've did a lot of things. And if people really knew at that time how broke I was, they'd be scared. Well, how could she do this? And she did, because I'm not in it for the money.
Ooh.
I'm in it to see my young men like you all excel. And you can never get to corporate door level without the push of having someone behind you. I may not never be where I need to be financially, but it's that I am rich because seeing what I've helped made rich.
I want to have that conversation because that's something we talk about here often, right? This willingness to, I don't want to say shun, I don't really want to say turn a blind eye to it, but this willingness to not put capital at the very top of your list of priorities.
You cannot do it. You just have to love this job for the job.
But oftentimes, when we have that conversation here, right? There's this like, oh, we got to have money, right? How can y'all say we don't need money? Nobody's saying that we don't need it, right? Just saying it can't be at the very, very top of your motivating factors for why you do what you do. I want to talk about how you've kept that perspective in line throughout the course of your life and your career, while also getting the things done that you have needed to get done, many of which has required some level of capital. When we come back, we want to have that conversation. This is I Said What I Said. Tucson Warner, Herb Howard here with you at 3 o'clock, joined live in the studio by Mother Wade. We'll be right back.
WIFTBPM. Boys, step aside. The Radio Rookie is in the building. The Book of Dawn, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. on What's In It for the Black People Media.
The Chicago Legal Network is the collaboration of attorneys that concentrate in many areas of the law most needed in Chicago neighborhoods. The CLN lawyers focus on personal injury, criminal defense, and other issues. The CLN lawyers all average over 20 years of legal experience and are dedicated to helping the Chicago community. The Chicago Legal Network is committed to developing black lawyers through mentorship and co-representation. So if you were injured in a car accident, slip and fall, or injured on the job, or you need assistance with criminal defense, including driving violations and DUI, check out ChicagoLegalNetwork.com for more information or call 773-912-3545. 773-912-3545.
Chicago Famous, 3 to 6, Monday through Friday, right here on What's In It for the Black People Media.
You ever have one of those moments in Comic View there was just something you were like, wow, I can't believe that just unfolded like that?
Deion Cole tell you, when he did his first Def Jam, he said he only had 15 minutes of material, but it was so impactful that they booked him, and now he's on the Def Jam tour with the 15 minutes, and he did 7 of them already on Def Jam. So now you got to create build an act. The new production company came in, and they decided, no, if they come out here and they bomb, show it, and put crickets
Oh yeah,
they started putting little crickets and sound effects. And that didn't work. You know, they would overdo it too. This was funny too. This is another behind the scenes comedy. Those laugh when you see people buckling over and laughing. That might not even be your audience.
They edited that from another.
Dude, you'll look and see this lady in all the episodes. You know, you're like, she must be a paid audience member. How is that lady laughing at everybody's show? I used to do a joke. Like one time, I saw me laughing at me on Comedy. I'm like, how did I get in the audience on my own special? What are they doing?
Oh man, David Williams.
Those are the days, man.
Man, thank you for stopping by Chicago Famous.
WIFTBPN. Live from What's in It for the Black Media Studio. You're listening to I Said What I Said.
Wait, what did you say?
I said you're listening to I Said What I Said.
I just said that.
I know you just said that.
That's what I just said.
That's what I'm saying to you.
Exactly what he just said.
With Herb Howard and Toussaint Werner.
That's about one of the nicest things you've ever said.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying.
And we are back. We are live from the What's in It for the Black People Media Studios. This is I Said What I Said. It is intellectual thuggery at its absolute finest. We feel it is the blackest conversation in America. And today, we're absolutely thrilled to be joined live in the studio by Mother Wade. My name is Herb. His name is Tu. Thank y'all so much for choosing to be a part of the conversation. We are fully aware that you could literally be doing anything else. The fact that y'all have chosen to be a part of this conversation, we greatly appreciate it. We hope that you all are picking up some of the jewels that Mother Wade is dropping down, because she is certainly dropping many of those jewels. I don't want to go any further without shouting out the rest of the What's in It for the Black People Media family. It's great content here all day long. So wake up in the morning, start with the Maze Jackson Show. Shout out to Maze, Todd, Ruthie, Sonia. They open up the show from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. every weekday. Then they hand the baton off to Miss Don Millhouse, the radio rookie, D Millie, I like to call her. Shout out to Little Big Sis. She's here today doing whatever she does. She does a whole lot around here. Like, she always working on something around here, whether it's booking guests, whether it's designing sets, working on future special events. Don Millhouse is an absolute gem. We are proud that she is a part of the family. But tune into her with the Book of Dawn every weekday, 9 to 11 a.m. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 a.m. It is Salim Muwakil ascending to Muwakil's world. By the way, you know Salim Muwakil? Before you met him, just out here a minute ago?
Yes, I've been knowing him for years.
Yeah.
I didn't call him that.
Oh, well, I don't want to know what you used to call him. Please. That's the Black Forrest Gump. He's lived 10, 12 lives. Let's not put that out there.
But he and I go way back with Lou's Notebook. That's how far he been in the talk radio.
He's been in a whole lot. So that's Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Obviously, we're here with what's the name of our show? I said what I said.
Get it together, Herb. Get it together, brother.
3 to 6 Monday through Friday. It is Chicago Famous Mike Love and the Diz, and then Tuesday, Thursday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. It is Triggered with Mike Brown, and then 1 to 3 p.m. Tuesday and Thursday. It is the Bigs on the soil with the Bigs, Terrence Tomlin and Eugene McIntosh. Shout out to everybody holding it down here at What's in It for the Black People Media family. We got weekend programming too. We got Man in My Black Business with Tennille Jackson. We got Go Ladies, and we have the Kickoff Kickback also with the Bigs and myself.
Real quick though, I want to shout out the Bigs, man. The other day they had Mark
Bigs,
Aguayo on here talking to them, and I love when they talk to like ex-athletes or athletes that are actually playing in the game right now, because they have such a wealth of knowledge, man. I can't turn away. It's like
that's them at their best. It
is them at their best. It's better than ESPN programming when they got a real athlete, a real somebody who's really engaged in the game right now. You can't turn away, man. It's just great radio.
You cannot turn away from it, and they have access unlike any other independent sports media platform in the city of Chicago. The Bigs are definitely the underground kings of Chicago sports and national sports. Really, those brothers hold it down in a way that very few people can. So shout out to the Bigs, man. Eugene and Terrence, man. Y'all are who y'all are, and it's a pleasure to work alongside you all. As it is a pleasure to sit alongside you, Mother Wade, and continue to take in this vast wealth of knowledge and information. Actually, before we went to break, about the ability to navigate the spaces and places that you need to navigate, accomplish the things that you need to accomplish without putting capital ahead of the love of your people. How do you find that balance? How have you maintained it over the course of these years?
Well, first of all, I love my community. I love my people. And when my business downsized, I think I took on 6 different jobs inside the company. And I tell people, I think I have lived 3 lifetimes out in working to year 1. That's how I work, from sun up to sundown. I just recently, within the last 2 years, don't work like that. But prior to that, it would be dark when I come to work and dark when I go home. And I'm committed. I want everything raw cooked to order. I want everything sanitized. I want everything clean. So it has been a struggle, and it hasn't been easy. I think this time last year, I went home, and I never told nobody this. I was committing suicide because I felt like I had failed my community. When the guy came and pulled out all that electric, and I knew we was already struggling, and I didn't see no way through, I did. I had thoughts like that.
So just adding some context. Was it last year? Last year or the year before?
It was the year before last.
The year before last? Someone came in and broke into the restaurant and stole all like the copper wiring and the piping
Well, see,
and stuff?
this was a person who worked for ComEd or somebody that knowed how to get on the roof to pull all that wire out. The break-in that we had recently, it really wasn't a break-in. It was a young man that Victor mentored. And when Victor came, he came and asked Victor for some money. See, that's another thing with mental health. You got kids that can't take rejection. So Victor was cooking, and when he asked Victor for the money, he told him he didn't have it. He told Victor he didn't believe it. So after he didn't leave, Victor said, man, don't have me to come out the kitchen and do thus and so to you. It was going to put him out. So he came back that evening angry, hid in the basement, and they locked him in for the weekend because we close on Sunday night and don't open up till Tuesday. So he stayed in there, and this time he tore the place up. And this was shortly after that company had came in and redone it. But the Lord is good, and he sits high and he looks low. And again, son, goes back to what I said. Right always win.
Yes, ma'am.
I was throwing in the towel, but God dispatched some angels.
It ain't over.
ComEd, City Hall, the Union, all these people came in and helped put that place back together. Until the day, I tell everybody I got to watch my film. Because when you do right, right will win. And I didn't call nobody and ask them for any help. I told my son, I said, we're going to take the chandeliers and send them to Leak Funeral Home in the funeral home. And we just going to lock up and walk away. But for some reason, God have not allowed it. I remember Ree Peppers and Lucius, the late, great Lucius Hall, say, you cannot close this restaurant, say, because people can come here to get married. They can come here for counseling. They could come here for this, and that, and for all kind of help.
We put together a poetry show, right? Just well, I guess it was a variety show, just for the community to come out and be able to really just congregate and show love. Really, that's really what it was about. We had the poetry set there. People came out and they had the dance, the footwork, and then the singing and everything else. And you know, you all just opened up the door.
For 2 years straight, we fed upwards of like 200 black men, like 2 or 3 times
right,
a month.
for breaking bread
at Mother Wade's restaurant every week. So,
tell them about some of the young men that you fed to, son, and how they was homeless, unadopted, and had not been adopted and been in a home since they aged out of foster care. These are the kind of things that mother do.
And that's, the thing you said about even politics, about, it has to be about public service, and when you do good and you do right, the universe serves you. It's not even about people.
Right.
Like the universe comes and serves you. And I think that one of the things, the most important thing that you said in this conversation to me is that we've had a shift in our value sets.
Right.
And And that's what I
the
value
only
so
somebody
much about.
can change. Like the technology is here for new talk radio with I can't pronounce it where it's space and spike and you know that
I get the internet and
and
driving numbers
then
and all
Facebook and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this is the same opportunity that you all are getting ready to have now. You all can change back your neighborhood, but it will take young men like you all to do it. And that is to start inviting corporate rather than go to corporate. Let corporate come back in your neighborhood like they used to.
I think that we have to have some leverage of control in corporate, right? So to the point you made earlier, like we just go give our money away. So in my other life, you know, I make money off marketing, advertising, and design. And I've been going into corporate office probably for the last 10 years, and there really is no black niche marketing money, right? They don't have to give black people no money because we buy the same things the general market buys. And the reason we buy the same thing the general market buys is because we've kind of lost the identity that we've had. We identify with whiteness at the end of the day. We want what they want, right? So why would I specify a segment of money for you when I could just spend this money with general market and you gonna go spend that money anyway?
That's right.
So we have to get a commitment to what it means to be black again, right? So when you start thinking about your own journey, right? From Sharecropper, which is an amazing story. And part of that, which is why I want you to talk about that, is because I think that we have this kind of flawed concept of time, right? Even people in my age bracket, our history legitimately stops at our birthday. Like we think the world start and stop with us. You know what I mean? And because of that, we don't have context of how near slavery really is to our own experience, right?
You're one step away.
We one step
but with
away.
blinders on.
With blinders on, I
We
agree.
are blind in our community. Anytime that you have to go cross town to buy a mop or a broom or go to a hardware store out from where you sleep, you got a problem.
I agree.
And you got a problem because back in the day, that's what we did. This is the 21st century, and you still spending gas driving out of your neighborhood to do service and goods. That's a sad day.
It's insane.
We'll say, well, what will Gene Sawyer, Metcalf, Austin,
Harold.
Charlie Chu, Harold, all of the legends, the gardeners, who have fought for the rights of having, we no longer own no service stations. How you going to allow stores, Captain Net, they came in and took the name and named they place Captain Hook and this, and people thought they were doing business with us, but they wasn't. They came, how you going to allow people to come in your neighborhood and do service and goods and they don't eat the food that they sell you? That's where I got a problem.
How do we lose the sense of connectivity and this necessity to look inwards, right? At some point, it was necessary. We didn't have another choice but to look to ourselves for all the services and goods that we needed. Then we became a part of this illusion of inclusion where we thought we had a ride with white folk and we can shop in their businesses.
And we got to eat what they eat.
Let ours go.
Right. And let our culture go.
How do we get to that space to say, well, when we had to do it, not only could we do it, but we could do it as well or better than anybody else. We were able to thrive and flourish, to then say, I'd rather go back to being accepted by white folk and doing it that way. And is it possible for us to get back to the space where we say, no, everything in our community is ours. And if you aren't a part of us in our community and you aren't putting back into our community, we aren't going to invest our money into your business. Because right now, despite the best efforts of many people, we still show up and we still give our dollars to those businesses, even though they just loot our neighborhoods on a daily basis, take all of our resources and go right back to their own communities.
You know, Tucson Victor is the new owner of Captain Hard Times, Josephine's Cooking. And just Monday, I did a reflection, and it was really sad of what I come up with. And I don't know where I get this stuff from. Do you know that there is nothing that a black restaurant can do but open up and go out of business? And I'm going to tell you why. Because everything that our restaurants sold that we would come out for, they have marketed us away from that. We started out, I was the first somebody doing wings and chicken before Roscoe in California.
Chicken and waffles.
Chicken and waffles.
And just so we
And
know,
now-
real quick, before you even go any further, Josephine's Restaurant, 436 East 79th Street, for the best chicken and waffles in the city of Chicago. Me and my daughter go have them at least, I ain't even gonna tell you how many times a week, because that's how much that's why I wait, this is what I wait on the scale. But I go a lot.
436 East 79th Street.
436 East 79th Street.
But what I'm saying now is you have all fast food, I ain't gonna call no names, selling everything you sell on breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
I started when Victor's kids were small, and I call it 2 all in one. I would take a biscuit, and I would put the hash browns on the grill for Josh and them.
Yes.
And then I would fry the egg and put it on top of the hash brown.
Yes.
And put the sausage between the biscuit and the hash brown.
Yes. To this day, my
The
mother can
next
vouch for you. That's the
thing
only way I
I
eat my
know-
breakfast.
The next thing I know,
McDonald's got it.
Dunkin' Donut and McDonald's, all of them doing it now. But see, when we get ideas, we don't know how to market that. And the next thing we know, once somebody comes up with it, but we've already created it. Just like I think it's called the Spanish place where you get the rice boat.
Chipotle.
Chipotle. Well, we've been Chipotle all our life. When we were poor, we would take peppers, onions, tomatoes, and dice them up. And we'd either cook pinto beans or white beans with rice. And we'd cut up the chicken. And we'd take fresh corn, fresh okra, and put in that. And make the same thing, the rice boat that they making with the flavored rice. We was doing that back there then. But see, when we do something and come up with ideas, we can't market them and push them like they can. Now, this come out of a slave person's kitchen.
Right.
Because when you didn't have money, like Sloppy Joe, I invented a Sloppy Joe. And I'll tell Martha Stewart and them that. We had a little ground beef, and we would take the pinto beans. We would take the onions and stuff we get out the garden, the diced tomatoes. The tomato puree is the only thing we would buy. And we didn't put them on a hamburger bun. We put them on white bread, light bread, y'all call it, because we got more slices.
Okay.
And it was 13 of us.
Sure.
So to stretch it,
Gotta be
we
efficient.
used bread,
Right.
and they bought it back using a hamburger bun. So these are, how do you think Paula Deen got so rich? Off of black folks' recipes.
Of course.
Black folks' recipes.
But she leverages that even to this day. The way
To
she
this
talk
day.
and how the people that she brings around her show. Like this.
Listen, all recipes started out of your great-grandmother or somebody's kitchen.
Facts.
But at the mere fact that we don't stick together and market our plan like they could get the marketing, get the samples and taste, and the next thing you know, McDonald's or these fast foods is doing it. But we did it back in the slave day.
So I'm gonna push back just a little bit,
Okay.
right? And I'm gonna say that for me, going to Mother Wade's restaurant, and I love the food, so I don't want to minimize the food, but it's not about the food. It's about the experience, right? And I think the reason why marketing works for these other people is because they're not offering another experience. And the reason why marketing works on any person is because they're relinquishing themselves from love. And I say that, you go buy the Jordans because they tell you they're going to jump higher. But that's not true. You got to invest in doing the workout, which is a reference point to how much you love yourself.
Right.
You're going to jump higher if you work out.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So part of me going to Mother Wade's, the way I go to Mother Wade's is about the experience. And because we have this lost identity, we lack identity, we're not looking for black experiences anymore. And that's what we got to get back to. So when I sit in Mother Wade's, and I can sit at the foot of Mother Wade and hear the information that we're hearing today and learn a wealth of, let's remove me. My daughter's 11 years old.
Right.
My daughter loves going to Mama Wade.
Yeah.
Because she sits there and she feels like royalty. Right? I can go in the kitchen when I want to go in the kitchen. When I come in here, they know what I want. I can sit at whatever booth I want. Mama Wade's going to acknowledge me. All the other elders that come through, they're going to acknowledge me. They're going to sit and talk to me. It's an experience, right? But it's an experience based on the connectivity of our lineage. It's when we get in here, we talk about sharecropping. Even though I've never experienced that, that's a part of my experience because I am nothing but
the sum total.
The sum total of all that comes before me.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So it's part of the experience. I'm not trying to get in 5 minutes and get out. I want to sit here and see who's gonna come through the door.
Yeah, I'm posted right here.
This is what this
it's
is
an
about.
experience. It ain't just
It's
a
an
meal.
experience.
But you know, to piggyback what you're saying, Tucson, I think this is what has been the breakdown with our children. They've lost their way because they don't have that opportunity that you're giving your daughter to come in and dine with her and let her look at pictures on the wall and let her see politicians come through there. Let her see preachers come through there, educators, and tell who they are and show them the pictures on the walls and things like that. I would love to have a day, and it would call Bring Your Mother and Father for Breakfast Day. And we would feed the kids, and the adults would pay for their food. We have lost that family thing of sitting down teaching our kids culture. You know, I really believe you can't go where you don't know. And you can't learn what you've never been exposed to. A lot of our kids is out of control because we got fast food and running them through this, not sitting and putting in the hours and the time. And then we want to know why our kids is out of control. It's because we've left our structure.
You don't know what you don't know.
I remember going to hear a pastor, Bishop Horace Smith. And this man started to talk about the 10 Commandments, but he broke it down in the everyday life about what you're allowing your kids to do. When you have a child that comes up pregnant and allow her to come home and bring that baby home and you accept it, you broke those commandments. And that's what has happened to our home life. We have left our 10 Commandments out of our life. And there's more ways that God interpret 10 Commandments. It's the 10 Commandments of life and how you have carried that baby, the way you've nursed. Most kids nowadays, the young mothers, if they're not single, they abuse the kids in the womb. So kids come here hating their dads. And this is why, Tucson, you'll say, well, Mother Wade, you cry. I love black men. You know why I love them? Because we have trained our kids that our fathers don't matter, and they do.
Speak that word, Mama.
You would never be here if you didn't have a dad. And dads do matter. But we got to give the stability back from the woman back to the black man.
But also, I'm going to push back a little bit there, too. The black man got to stand up and take it.
That's right. He got to take it.
It's
Mandatory. That is correct.
Right?
That
so
is
sisters
correct.
are just treasuring the position they've been given. We've got to stand up and do what we got to do as men as well.
That is correct, because women have played a major role.
Absolutely.
But I'm saying, when we meet a young man and I'm 12 or 13 and I fall in love and I'm excited now because I'm finna I done got pregnant. Mama don't want it, grandmama don't want it, but I want it.
Mm-hmm.
So now I done fell in love with him, and now he got a wandering eye, he looking somewhere else. So by the time that this kid comes in this womb, and mainly male babies, he learned to cuss in the womb because the mother have cussed the dad out. She hates him. She cusses him. Well, that baby takes in all that. So we got to go back and mentor our young ladies from the womb and show love. You know why these young boys can shoot and don't blink an eye?
Because ain't no love.
Because it ain't no love. I had a young man that's over there by my store. He told me he had killed 6 people. I heard about Ron Emanuel in there. And I bought all the little boys that was in the neighborhood that I know was trouble and set him down with the mayor. And I let them talk, and I let him talk. I said, now you want the people, society, want these young men to go get jobs, and most of them are homeless. How you going to get a job and you don't have ID.
Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? It's something that it's critically important. It's also something that Mike Brown talks a lot about on Trigger, right? If your basic fundamental needs are not met, then all this high level stuff, it's really a waste of time to even talk about that. If I don't know where my next meal's coming from, I don't know where I'm laying my head tonight. This idea of me having this type of level thinking it's unrealistic.
But
he was telling me
real quick, Mom. We make the goal. We assume the goal is too further than it really is.
That is correct.
So those same boys that shot 6-7 people, I've seen them.
He
boys.
said their mother don't care.
But we'll have a conversation with them boys, and ain't no one conversation thing. But what we show is a commitment to them,
right?
And within a month, 2 months, a couple hours, sometimes
they coming in looking for a job. You can see the difference.
What they looking for is somebody to
love them and care.
I want to get put in the right way. I don't want to be in this fold, but I want to be put.
But it is. We respond.
I want to be aligned with.
As men, we respond to discipline.
Yeah.
But Tucson, I want to say this.
Yeah.
When I brought those young men in, and I took 25 guys to try to register them at my address for ID.
I know.
And they wouldn't let me. When the mayor heard that I had did this, that city ID that's out, that anybody can get, and you don't have to go to school, you don't have to do anything, you just need an ID, you could go to the city of Chicago. When I put that to Ron Emanuel, he went back and put that ID together from the state of Illinois, city of Illinois. You can go and take that ID to the bank. You can get on the plane with it. You can open up a checking account. And when I told him the need and let him talk to those boys and said they want to change, but they don't have ID, when they got put out of school, there was no longer patrolling officers. So it was no one there to help send them back to school. Now they 18, 19, 21, and still can't be a role model in life because they don't have the tools to do it. I must give the mayor credit. He got a city ID, and anybody can require it now.
Right.
That needs an ID. That was Mother Wade's doing.
Well, again, Mother Wade, your contribution to not only the city of Chicago, but just for black culture in general, it's expansive, it's limitless, it is appreciated. And then to sit down and be able to have this type of conversation where you can impart this type of knowledge and experience and wealth of information on younger generations like younger generations like mine, and everybody's listening, right, who may be younger than me, some may be older than you. It's a necessary part of the equation for how we build self-sustainable communities that can exist on their own, that can be led with love, that understands the value of money, but isn't so beholden to it that it influences every single one of our decisions. And so again, I just can't thank you enough for taking the time out to come and have this particular conversation with us. We still got a half hour left, but we got to take a break. When we come back from break, I want to use your wealth of knowledge, experience, and wisdom to try and peel back the curtain and see if we can't get a peek into the future, what that looks like, how we can build it to be what we want it to be, as opposed to what we know it's been laid out to be. Because the outcomes that we see in our community, they aren't by chance, right? They're created by design, right? They're intentional, and unless we do something different, they will certainly continue until we're no longer here. So I want to have that conversation.
And that's why we need the voice. Only somebody can make a change, and where you sleep is you.
So word. This is I Said What I Said. Tucson Warner, Herb Howard. Thrilled to be joined live in the studio by Mother Wade. We'll be right back.
Whatever happened to you falling in that grocery store?
Your guess is as good as mine. My auntie said she knew someone. I gave her all the information, but that was 3 weeks ago and I still haven't heard anything.
You still got time to talk to the lawyers at the CLN.
The CLN? What's that?
It's the Chicago Legal Network, a group of attorneys that concentrate in many areas of law, especially the laws most needed in Chicago neighborhoods. The CLN lawyers focus on personal injury, criminal defense, and other issues. Plus, all the lawyers at the CLN all average over 20 years of legal experience and are dedicated to helping the Chicago community.
Sounds like I definitely need to contact them.
Say less. I can text you everything you need to know. So if you're ever injured in a car accident, slip and fall, or injured on the job, or you need assistance with criminal defense, including driving violations and DUI, check out ChicagoLegalNetwork.com for more information, or call 773-912-3545. That's 773-912-3545. The Chicago Legal Network is committed to developing black lawyers through mentorship and co-representation.
What's up, good people? You're listening to I Said What I Said with Toussaint Warner and Herb Howard. You'll never breed a warrior.
Warriors, come out to play.
Shh, you hear that?
And that's what's happening at every angle. They're creating paradigms where we can only raise feminine men.
Yes.
Whether they're homosexual or not, they feminine as shit.
Sure, because all masculinity is toxic.
All masculinity is toxic in a war-torn society where the dominant society is saying to your ass, we don't never want no warriors.
Right.
You bastards.
Any book you've ever read, you can read the Bible, goddammit. When they go and they destroy some shit, they kill all the boy babies.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't even want you growing up to think you're going to do some shit to me.
Animals do the same thing. If I come over here and I take over this village now or whatever, like this gonna be my pride. First thing I'm doing, killing the male boys, like killing the male babies.
Don't you even grow up with that?
Don't you even think about it, okay?
Bitch.
Right. You ain't my daddy. You damn right I ain't your daddy. Fuck your fort, little nigga.
Fuck your fort.
You're not my dad.
Oh man, I hate that I laugh at this shit in public.
That's real.
I hate that I laugh at this stuff in public.
That's real though, right? Toussaint Warner and Herb Howard live on What's in It for the Black People Media, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 1 p.m. to 3 p.m.
Introducing your trusted source for high-quality black emojis, better known as Blackmoji. We believe black is beautiful, and that beauty should be reflected in the digital market. Now there is an app that does just that, starting with Black Greek letter organizations. Blackmoji D9 offers more than an emoji app. It is a cultural experience of black excellence. Download the app in the Apple or Google Play Store to access a specially curated catalog of emojis representing the Divine Nine. Use the emojis to celebrate Black Greek events, acknowledge current events, support social causes, and learn about esteemed Black Greek members who blaze the trail of Black history. A portion of every subscription goes toward a scholarship fund specifically for members of Black Greek letter organizations to help keep the legacy alive. Download the Blackmoji app today.
WIFTVPN. Live from What's in It for the Black Media Studio. You're listening to I Said What I Said.
Wait, what did you say?
I said you're listening to I Said What I Said.
I just said that.
I know you just said that.
That's what I just said.
That's what I'm saying to you.
Exactly what he just said.
With Herb Howard and Toussaint Warner.
That's about one of the nicest things you've ever said.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying.
And we are back. We are live from the What's in It for the Black People Media Studios. This is I Said What I Said. Thank y'all so very, very much for choosing to be here. Tell y'all all the time, but I'm going to continue to tell you because I mean it. Like, we just appreciate y'all being here. Like, we really appreciate y'all being here. I was just telling Mother Way that I talk to Toussaint probably every day, right? And, you know, it's not necessary for me and Toussaint to come up here to have a conversation every day. We talk all the time. But we're here because y'all are here. We want to have this conversation with y'all. Y'all's input, y'all's contributions to this conversation is invaluable. And you know, I hope y'all never think that, you know, Herb just like to say that when we come back from break. I'm dead ass. Like, thank y'all so very, very much for choosing to be a part of this conversation. We appreciate y'all. We also appreciate you, Mother Way, for choosing to be here this afternoon. And pardon my French on that, talking to my people. I didn't mean to curse in front of you. Usually, so right at the top of the show, when they saw that Mother Way was here, somebody put in the comment, I think it was Adrian. Shout out to the Izwiz OG. Shout out to Nicole Rogers too, another Izwiz OG. They was like, y'all gonna have to stop cursing this episode. And I was like, pray for me, right? Pray.
You did extremely well.
Me. Of course, because, you know, I've been well trained. I know how to act when I need to act properly. But it's just, you know, usually this is our platform, so we talk how we need to talk.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're here, obviously that's not the case. So again, I just thank you so much for being a part of it. Truly.
Thank you for having me.
No, it's a pleasure.
So Mama Way be letting them fly too. Don't let her
I know, but do it. But what they tell us when we grew up. Do as I say, not as I do. I can curse like a sailor in here. You better watch your mouth. And so I'm going to continue to watch my mouth because you are
I love you.
right here
Absolutely.
in the studio. And people, they talk about me a lot because my mom tunes into all the shows and they're like, Herbie, cursing like a mug, and his mom's here. My mom is here watching me work. She's come to my job to watch me work. So I do that here. I'm not going to show up at my mama's house and go crazy. Like, if she watching me work from back there, cool. But if she was here, nah.
Different story.
Yeah.
All right now, I like
Absolutely.
that.
There has to be a level of respect
is
when dealing
something
with
that
the
you
elders.
earn.
Mandatory.
Absolutely.
It's not given to you. You earn it.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Even in regards
that's
to
in
you.
relationships, partnerships, all kind of things start with a relationship.
With respect.
And respect in a relationship.
Yeah, yeah. Respect is something that we lose a lot in relationships. When you're talking about friendships, you're talking about, romantic relationship, business relationship. Respect not being there dooms their relationship to fail. And there's a lot of reasons why that respect could be lacking, right? But it's a necessary part of a successful relationship, whatever that relationship is. Mm-hmm. 2.
Yo.
I know that this was something that you've been wanting to get on the books for a long time. I know it's a conversation that you've been wanting to have for quite some time. I want to make sure that we haven't overlooked any part of the conversation that you wanted to get into.
So, Mother Wade is such a wealth of information, right? These conversations can go all different kind of ways.
Sure.
Right? More than anything, I just wanted to celebrate Mother Wade. But I know, like, other stories that are interesting and funny to me.
Y'all get down to the restaurant. It's 436 East 79th Street. Y'all need to get to Hard Times. You need to get to Josephine's. Make sure that you sit down in there, enjoy the food. The food is phenomenal. But take in the entire experience, right? Look at the pictures on the wall. Spend some time there talking to the people. Take notice of the people who come through that door and just take in that experience. One day you get an opportunity, just get there, 436 East 79th Street. You won't regret it.
And it's Josephine's, right? There's a branding changeover at this point, right? It went from Captain Hard Times to Josephine's. Now that Victor Wade has started to take over the reins. And, Mother expresses concerns about that to me all the time. But we're going to trust Vic.
Stick
and he's
going
going to do
works.
great.
And Hard Time
Vic is in here, too. I'm pretty sure I saw Vic in here
Hard
earlier.
Time works.
Hey, I love Hard Times. I push back against that, too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but
he's
Victor just didn't like that name.
He gonna do well though, man. He's focused that he's trying to get it together. And I'm gonna help him get it together best I can. But outside of Mother Wade, you had another restaurant. I mean, outside of Josephine's, you had another restaurant before you started Josephine's, right? Mm-hmm. What was that restaurant?
Volume 1 Lounge and Restaurant.
Volume 1 Lounge and Restaurant. And where was
I've been
that
in
at?
business since I was 21 years old.
What's all the businesses you've had?
Just that. And I worked for mortgage companies all these years.
Okay. So where was
I had
Volume 1?
2 jobs because I was a single mother.
Where was Volume 1?
Volume 1 started out at 436 East 79th Street.
Okay.
Not 436, 353 East 75th Street, right at 75th and Dorchester.
Okay.
And then I went to 54th and Ashland.
Okay.
And then I was going out of the business. And then I met Smitty, and we came back with a little bitty Hard Time. Because I always like food raw cooked to order.
Mm-hmm.
And we started a little seafood place right there at 353 East 79th.
Mm-hmm.
And we outgrew it in 2 months. So Bob Hughes from Rio Movers put up the money and did a turnkey. And I went through GE and did a turnkey and paid Bob off in a year.
Is that the guy with the
Bob Hughes that used to own Rio Movers?
Is that South Chicago Rio Movers?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
You had me go over there for something not too long
Yeah.
ago.
Mhm.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, that's him.
Yeah. Why was everything over in the 79th Street district, Chatham district? Were you always over there, or were you always a resident over there in the Chatham district?
I just always have liked the South Side and the 6th Ward.
Okay.
These are Gene Sawyer's wards that I've always had my business in.
So I'm gonna give you a little bit of history about me too that you didn't know, right? So back in the day, there was the Tigers Lounge right there down
I'm
the street.
very
from
familiar with it.
right?
Blood. We always in it together.
Tigers Lounge, right?
Yeah.
What you don't know though is my best friend growing up, his mom was one of the maitre d's, right? She's also a single mother. And what she would do was, when she would have to work late at night, she didn't have a babysitter. She would get me to go with him to keep him occupied, and we would sit in the back of the Tigers Lounge while she ran her shift.
How about that?
Ain't that something?
Those are some stories that parents used to do back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Because I used to cook when I couldn't get a babysitter with Victor on the table.
Mm-hmm. And back to the part of my own upbringing in Chicago, and just how I kind of value the culture from a different perspective. One of the things that was always alluring to me about the Tigers Lounge specifically was that Fluky would always be in the Tigers Lounge.
That is correct.
Right? And he took a liking to me, and he would always...
And Baltimore Blood on the
Absolutely.
Tigers
And he'd
Lounge.
hit
I
me
go
with a
way
couple
back
dollars
with
when
Whole lot
he
of
see
gang.
me. Yeah, he hit me with a couple dollars when he see me, and I just thought Fluky was Jesus Christ himself. Like, I thought he
But
was...
back there in the day, that kept our economy too, because we had flourishing, profitable businesses.
Mm-hmm.
Service station, lounge, pool halls, grocery stores, gas stations. Mr. Harris had Chatham Food Store. Bread Basket had the one on 87 and 87 and Yates, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
But we had things then. And for some reason, I just reflect back and I'm trying to figure out, where did we go? Well, a lot of people say, well, I can't shop at Chatham because I can get a pound of greens for this. Well, people don't deal with, there are two type of corporate things.
Right.
When the truck comes to Mr. Harris, that's at risk. So he have to put that cost on small items than Dominic's and them buying them in bulks and train loads when we getting them broke down into our need. And that's where we made our mistake. Right now, for a steak, you can go up on Rush and you could pay $65.68 for a steak. But the baked potatoes a la carte, the vegetables is a la carte, the salad is a la carte, and you got to pay for the bread. Mm-hmm. So now you come to Mother Wade and you getting a whole meal for $16. But yet we shopping at the same place. See, that's what people don't understand. You do not have a certain place to go buy service and goods. We all shop from the same
depot.
Distribution.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You follow me?
Mm-hmm.
So why is it that on Rush they could get this and you can't get $20 for a steak on the south side unless you question? I don't understand that. Then you could go to the favorite seafood place that people go, and you paying $7 and $8 for a drink, and we still getting $15 and $16 for a whole plate of food. And the young people go there and don't complain. So my mom, Victor,
because we
said,
value that experience,
huh?
Because we value that experience, right? It's the experience of elitism per se.
I'm
right?
on Rush Street.
I'm on Rush Street. I'm with the white folks.
I
The
won't even name one
whiteness
of those
is
spots
the value
'cause-
asset. We don't value our own culture. We don't value our own history, right? And I don't even want to say whiteness because whiteness is in a lot of ways is an illusion. What we value is the idea of wealth, and what the idea of wealth is attached to in America is white culture. So by default, we value in white culture. You know what I mean?
But see, to me, back in the day, the greatest wealth you could require is to come in a black restaurant. Army Lou's, Izola's, Gladys's, Edna's, see John Scrozier, see Alderman Austin, see Addie Wide, Rum Barrel, Jesse would even come out.
Mm-hmm.
And then Hollywood, Gladys Knight. Do you know 50 Cent? Before he started, guess where he started to
On
do his
79th
first
Street.
press release?
Mhm.
On 79. Busta Rhymes.
Biggie was across the street.
LJ
Clothes
Cool.
did. I know.
Whatever they call him.
LJ Cool.
Whatever
LL
they
Cool
call
J,
him.
I know.
And this MC Hammer. Bernie Records was the distribution. But in order for them to get their records played, they had to come into Chicago to the Announcers Guild. Well, Announcers Guild would meet at my place, and I would serve them, and they would talk about how Barney's Records and One Stop would get out their distribution.
Mm-hmm.
But after, what is it called? Walmart's came in, but it was another Best Buy,
Best Buy.
and all them started carrying their records. Now you can't get an entertainer to come to the black neighborhood, and the ones that's from Chicago don't come to the South Side.
How have we been complicit in that change in terms of,
I
in
know
terms of
Common-
selling out? We talk about things about like selling out in terms of from that end. If you get to this level, then you may sell out black people for this huge amount of money. But talk about this issue of what I would call selling out, even at the most basic everyday level in terms of, I don't want to pay an extra $2 for this at Mr. Johnson's Beauty Supply as I could pay at
Ming Lee's Beauty Supply over here, right? I'm not willing to go another $1.25 over here.
We just don't want to do it. We
because
want a cheap. Let me tell you what Bill Clinton said this back in the day on a forum at Push. He says the difference between black folks, Italians, Jewish, and etc. He said we spend good money for food and cheap whiskey. Black folks gonna have cheap whiskey, expensive liquor and cheap food. So we got to value what we are putting raw and no impurities into our system. This is your vessel.
Sure.
But we would spend more for a drink than we would a good meal that you know it ain't got a lot of preservatives in it. And back to what I was saying too, I think black cultural entertainment took a lot of our economy away. Because it used to be that Gladys, Earth, Wind, and Fire, Millie Jackson, Tyrone Davis, you could go in your black restaurants and you would see this. We have black young people now that can help your community and don't. Carmen, I knew Carmen's mother, grandmother, aunts and uncles. What's the other? Chance, Kanye West. Now Kanye do come to the hood. Kanye comes to the hood. Kanye West. They could say what he wanted. And see, a lot of people talk about Kanye, but Kanye is ahead of his time. And what I mean by that is, you could say he gets off the change, but Kanye, the Lord, I believe, have called him, and he have changed his whole lifestyle. I don't think that's no play. Now, he might have some other issues, which I'm not here to defend, but when he got ready to feed the people that was disproportionate, he went to Watson, California, and he came to Chatham to feed people
during COVID.
Where's the rest of the entertainers from Chicago? They say you have not because you ask.
Truth.
And you got to first take care. And I want to say this to you too.
Yes, ma'am.
Like Magic Johnson. Magic Johnson, and I ain't talking about him in a negative way, because when Magic Johnson won his first champion, lost with the Bulls, he bought his bus to 79th. Michael never have bought a bus to 79th that I know anything with the players, but Magic have. So this is not a bad talk, but I'm just showing you a foresight. Magic is for creating jobs. Well, when he had the breakdown between the corporate people in the office,
yes, ma'am,
the man said something, and it made sense, because this is how I think. He said, Magic create jobs. He said he helped black people. He create jobs, but you're getting the wealth from the top. If Magic and Oprah and Tyler Perry and them wanted to help people, start your own black SBA company and loan it out on a year. Now, this is when mother talk like this. This is when the feds come looking for her.
Okay.
Because they don't want you talking like this.
Tell the truth.
Put your wealth where your mouth is. Now, Magic gave SBA $10 million to go back and help small black business people that couldn't qualify for the money. We didn't get none. But what if he took that million and said, I want to send it to a local bank in Chicago, California, and Atlanta. Y'all take my money as an investment and loan it out on a year. Give them a 2-year loan, a 3-year loan, depending on how much that they were borrowing.
Sure.
See, when mother talk like this,
Sure.
this is when I get in trouble.
Let me ask you this question: Is there a huge difference between, the unwillingness of black people at that financial level, the Magic Johnsons, the Michael Jordans? Is there a difference between their unwillingness to invest in the black community and the unwillingness of people at the ground level to invest in the same way I was talking about, not being willing to pay an extra $1 for the hairbrush at Mr. Johnson's Beauty Supply as you would pay at Ming Lee's Beauty Supply? Is there a connection between those two behaviors? I know the scale is vastly different.
It is.
But the behavior is the same in my opinion.
Why do we want white culture corporate to do something that our own black corporate culture don't do. You got to first, if the door opportunity is open, you got to first take care of your own before you can go and require someone else to do so.
Sure.
So until Magic and the people that have the wealth, start your own SBA, African American, and loan it out and see if you want to get wealthy. And then set up a board members, and get your stock on your yield. You're still not losing your money.
I understand it. I understand it, and I agree. I agree they should be doing all those things.
So,
but see, creating a job ain't helping me.
Mm-hmm.
It's that you giving me the foot tools to work with financially by making a small SBA loan to me.
So I make the argument all the time that capital grows out of community, that community cannot grow out of capital, right? I don't. It works differently, right? We can grow and build a community, which will in turn grow and build capital for the people within the community. But if you grow capital without the community, you can't. It doesn't work in reverse. Right. And one of the things I was having a conversation this morning actually with a partner of mine, and we were talking about the young boy King Von, who just got killed in Atlanta. It's a young rapper, just got killed in Atlanta, but he's a young rapper from Parkway Gardens. He's from Parkway Gardens, right? And he got killed in Atlanta maybe last week. And it's funny, like I got a variety of relationships and friendships, right? They span the gamut. Like I'm really good with some street dudes, and I'm really good with some elite, quote unquote, black people, right? And it just so happens that I was on the phone with both spectrums in that day. You know, we was having different conversations, and it was interesting for me to hear the conversation that these pseudo uppity elite Negroes was having around this same death versus what the streets was talking about in the moment. And I thought it was interesting because in a lot of ways, what this pseudo uppity class of people should be representing, they really have this same value system and the same thought process as those in the streets, because it's all based in the same thing. Get mine fast and free of charge. Get mine and to hell with whatever else happens, whatever else falls down. It doesn't matter. And therein lies the disconnect. It's our culture is now attached to getting mine. Mm-hmm. It's not about culture. It's not about love. It's not about each other. It's about getting mine. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And if getting mine is the ultimate goal, then getting mine is really a reflection of white culture, because they have all of what you consider to be mine in the getting part.
That is correct.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So until we start to value each other over that capital, this is a revolving door. It's a revolving door. And with the shorties that's dying, and they dying to go get money. They legitimately dying to make money, right? But they've mastered it in a way that even those uppity elite have it. And it sounds insane, but it's true. Mm-hmm. This little boy was in jail from 16 to 23 or something, right? So no activity in the world from 16 to 23. Gets out of jail from 23 to 26, makes a couple $1 million. Now, he lived hard and he died hard, but he made what is the same as the goal of the pseudo-elite Negro in 3 years. You done spent your whole life slaving for Mr. Charlie, keeping your head down at the office, living in oppression in the way that, you know, that young boy ain't never experienced. He was wild and free. I'm not saying it's right, but wild and free for 3 years, got to the same goal that you trying to get to that's going to take you 40 years. And you're going to retire and die and not even get to experience that much. So I say this all to say is that we got to question each other and say, is that a goal worth having? Is that a goal? Because even the young boy who rushed to get it dies before he gets to experience it.
Yeah.
Right? The old dude who takes his time to get it, as soon as he gets it, he dies because it's the end of the game.
So it works.
Is that of value to us? And why is that of value to us?
I know why, right? I understand the why. And I disagree with it. I don't think it should be what we're doing, but I do understand the why. It's this, you know, we've been locked out of this opportunity, and you see it, and it looks glitzy and glamorous, and you spend all this time trying to be included. And we want to be accepted. We want to be included for whatever reason. I'm not saying it's necessary, but we want it. And that is the why. Now, is it valuable? No. Does it mean anything? Absolutely not. Was King Von elated to become famous, and in his words say he get $3 million and have his O-Block chains on? Did that mean a lot to him? I'm sure it did. Did it stop him from dying because of the lifestyle that he chose? Absolutely not. Right. And so, and that's the same thing on whether you take the long road to it either. And you spend, 50, 60 years working tirelessly, and then, okay, well, now that I'm 80, I got a little bread.
But I want to get a little bit deeper in that conversation, even to go that far, though, right? And I'm saying this in this sense. Racism, blackness, the concept of blackness is built around getting capital for white people.
100%.
That's what it's built around, right? We bought African slaves here because they're easily identifiable. They look different than everybody else that's white. They look different, right? So I can enslave them, and we can leverage them as the labor source to make my money through any means necessary. Whatever I got to do to this person, I'm gonna do it to make my money. Right. Building capital. Hence, the construct of race happens out of that. But it's get money by any means necessary.
Right.
Now, forever, because we have not been able to get money in the way that the white people have been able to get money, our whole experience in America has been really to be the moral standard of America. Because we ain't had money. So morality had to be what we stood on. We had to stand on morality.
Right.
So now that we've let go of morality because we're chasing money at the same speed as white folks, what makes us any different than the oppressor? We the same damn people. And how can we go for 279 years and understand that this can't be our goal? We can't aspire to be white. You know what I mean? And then in 2 generations, it's like, man, the hell with that. We're going to shape our aspirations around these white folks. And we see the outcomes, right? We legitimately see the outcomes. Because those white folks that enslaved that class of black people were empowered. We're not empowerable with the same mindset, the same goal sets. It don't work that way. So we have to get back to being rooted in community. That's
where the basics start.
That's where it's just the basic concept. It's the basic concept. The goal of this journey is to be happy. Does that require money? I don't know. Now that maybe if you have a community that's undergirded by something, maybe it doesn't require money.
Well,
I don't know.
communities too, son, are not happy.
I agree.
You wake up every day and you can't go on your front porch and in your backyard or pull out of your garage or go to the end of your block without being shot down.
It's crazy.
We
I said that the other day, man. We all operate in this space of depression.
Yeah.
But it's depression for me. I've had this conversation with a clinical therapist too, right? And I asked her specifically. I said, how do you get people that aren't depressed when the entire value system is based on materialism? Because you ain't gonna never fulfill yourself when you're chasing materialism. The only thing that's gonna make you fulfilled is love. That's it, internally and externally.
That's it. You can have the biggest bag in the world. Without that love and community, you cooked.
When the time comes. Because everything that you do is not always going to be to your benefit of moving you towards wealth. But you're doing it for your people in the neighborhood because you're committed and it's right.
That's it.
Say that. Mama Way, we are up against the end of the show. I want to offer you the last word.
Well, I'm just glad to be here. Like I said, I'm excited to see my new future, my new talk show, my new way of communication, because I learned something today from you all with communication. And I just want to wish you all the best because I think you all are deep thinkers. You did your homework. You know your resources. And you know your avenue. So use it for your advantage now. If it's any such time as to bring out your leverage, and when I say leverage, we're not talking about violent leverage. We're talking about intellectual leverage. You have a leverage now. The world is up for grab. This virus is not an accident. I think it was designed by God. And it have gotten people's attention around the world. Because it took the rich and it replaced them. It stopped their wealth. And now the Bible said, first shall be last and last shall be first. Again, back to this show. You have not because you ask not. Go to the top, which is the federal government, and get what you're supposed to get for your people. And you doing that through communication.
Well, again, I just want to say thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for taking the time. Thank you so much for everything you have done, everything you continue to do, and everything you have yet to done in the future. It is invaluable. Tool, you set this up, brother. Anything you want to say before we get out of here?
Yeah, it's 2:58. So flat out, I absolutely adore Mother Wade. But what she didn't say is what I want to say is that, because I see the comments and there's all these people saying, man, I want to be able to sit at the foot of Mama Wade. Or, man, I would love to learn from somebody like Mama Wade. 436 East 79th Street. From Tuesday to Sunday, Mama Wade is there 99% of the damn time. This ain't no hard thing.
Pull up.
Pull up. Go eat. Go spend. Go let revenue replicate itself in our communities. Right? Go bring your child like I bring my child to Mother Wade's. Have that experience. Grow our community. 436 East 79th Street. Josephine's Restaurant, formerly Captain Hard Times. All y'all have seen the Captain Hard Times sign, just ain't never jabbed out the car. Go see it. It's a remodeled, great food. Come check it out.
Next time you're eating something else, I want you to feel a kind of way about it. We got to get up out of here. Coming up next, Chicago Famous. Mike Love and Diz here with you till 6 o'clock. Make sure y'all stay tuned and locked in for that. Thank y'all so much for choosing to be a part of this conversation. We will see y'all back here Friday for Relationship Friday on I Said What I Said at 1 p.m. Until then, y'all be good to each other. Peace.